Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm out here at the Mount Rose Nature Preserve in Hopewell Township, New Jersey to review my brand new car. This is a 2023 Infiniti Q50 Red Sport 400 Black Opal Edition. Few months ago, we did a full review on this car. I'll put that at the end of this video if you want the whole 9 yards on this car. And I said at the end of that video, if I had the money, I'd buy the car. Well, circumstances changed. My Maserati lease came up. And here we go. I was able to purchase this. And I'm going to go through this quickly, exterior, interior. And then we'll talk about more as far as why I chose this car versus some others in the same price point area. So for now, let's dig in. We're going to do a quick exterior walk around on this Black Opal Edition Q50. Black Opal Edition meaning you have this black opal paint. Now Infiniti has a limited production on these because the 2023 Q50 will be the last Q50 before Infiniti changes over to an electric car. Not sure if that's going to be named the Q50 as well, but this Q50 in its current form is going away after 2023. So they did a Black Opal Edition. 2 Black Opal Q50s were given to each dealer in the United States and Canada only. Roughly that means about 482 of these Black Opal Editions were made, give or take. So let's say 500 for the sake of argument. So that's the Black Opal paint. We do have LED headlights, LED daytime running lamps, LED turn signals, LED fog lamps. We have 19-inch gunmetal gray wheels. We have larger brakes, larger rotors up front and on the back, as well as sport suspension, all 4 corners. The wheel, or the tires, are Dunlop Sport 5000 summer tires. 245 on the width, a 40 series sidewall 19s, all 4 corners. This is all-wheel drive, which is another reason why I like this car. We have carbon fiber accents on the deck lid spoiler, LED lighting out the back with functional dual exhaust. So overall, the exterior of this car I think looks terrific. I think the Q50 has always been a good-looking vehicle, but it's an older design, and I think some people have said, you know what, I want something newer than this, which hasn't been redesigned since 2016. Been a long time. But I said, you know what, I think it still looks nice. I think it still looks pretty fresh in today's market, and if these are going by the boards, I want to get one before they're gone just to see what they're all about. Because, you know, you're talking about 400 horsepower, 350 pound-feet of torque out of a turbocharged 3-liter V6 with a 7-speed automatic. So it's got some get up and go. And that's another reason why I went Red Sport 400 and not a regular Q50. Now inside the vehicle, I really like the way it's set up with the carbon fiber around the door handle. You got your upgraded Bose Performance Series sound system. You have leather insert, soft touch up top. It's just a really nice design with the red stitching. Looks good. I really like it. Now the downside, obviously, is the infotainment system because it's old, right? You have the old Nissan 7-inch infotainment system, dual panel infotainment system. But the thing I love about this one is the wireless Apple CarPlay in here, and it's also got wireless Android Auto. But I have an iPhone, so I'm using the CarPlay. It hooks up immediately, it doesn't glitch, and it doesn't drop, ever. Now, I waited about a month to make this video, so I've been driving this car for a month. I've driven it almost 1,000 miles so far, so it's been great. Some of my newer cars it takes a while to hook up, it has glitches, and sometimes the wireless CarPlay drops. So I love the way that operates. We do have heated seats and a heated steering wheel in here, no ventilated seats, and I think that was a missed opportunity in a top-of-the-line car that's MSRP'd around $64,000. We should have ventilated seats in here and a wireless charging pad. This only has heated seats and a heated steering wheel. I love the gear shift to go through the 7-speed automatic. with the Gator. I think that's great. We have, you can either use it as the screen as a touch screen or use this instead. We have drive modes up here, and you have a bunch. You have your personal, where you can set it up yourself, Sport Plus, Sport, Standard, Eco, and Snow. So they got you covered. Obviously, we're going to rock in Sport Plus today. So they got you covered as far as that goes. The backup camera, we do have 360-degree cameras in here. They're okay. They could be better, but it is what it is at this point. It still works. Carbon fiber down here, which I really like. We have a nice soft armrest with the stitching, and in here you have a 12-volt, an aux jack, USB-C, USB-A. So they got you covered that way. You look at the steering wheel, great leather wrap steering wheel. All the interior in here is leather. The Infiniti badge, flat black on the switchgear. You have magnesium paddles to go through the gears manually if you would like. It's a round bottom wheel, and it's a tight-fitting cockpit, but you know what? You have easy exit, right? So when you turn the car off and you open the door, the power seat moves back, and the electric tilting and telescoping steering wheel moves up to let you get out. So that's a really nice touch, and I like that quite a bit. You have your push-button start up there, and again, more carbon fiber all the way up there around the heat and air vents, which is nice. But it's just a really nice, and the seats are pretty comfortable for a sports sedan. Normally, I find the seats a little bit hard or firm. These feel pretty good on my rump. I have 2 memory seat settings, and we have power fold mirrors with this button right here. So if I hit it, keep forgetting which way I have to go. They close up, and then if I hit it the other way, they go back out. Unfortunately, in the Q50, the power fold mirrors don't fold in when you lock the car door. You have to manually fold them in before you lock the car. That's totally weird. Should have probably a digital rear view mirror, but we don't. But we do have the moonroof in here, which is a nice touch. Goes all the way back and tilts, so I like that. But overall, it's a really nice front end. You have power seats for the driver and the front passenger with thigh support that comes out like that. It's manual, but you can move the thigh support out if you would like. So that's handy as well. So, and we got another 12-volt in here, but there's really no place to put your phone anywhere, which I'm not a big fan of. I have to stuff my phone in here because even in the armrest area, it's not very big. So that's another downside, but wasn't a deal breaker for me. Getting in the back seat, I have the front seat set for my driving position, and it's a little tight to get in, but not bad. But once I'm in, I got plenty of headroom, plenty of knee space. I'm not a big fan of the plastic back here. Should be all leather all the way down, but we do have seat pockets, and we do have 2 heat and air vents, a USB-C and a USB-A. And again, we have that nice vibe. They didn't skip on the door panels in the back. Carbon fiber, leather, soft touch, stitching, looking good. Back seats, same way, leather with the quilted design, just like the front with the nice headrests. And then you have a really soft armrest with 2 cup holders. And you have a pass-through here into the trunk. So that's nice. But it is a really nice setup in this car, and it's pretty good back seat room. And that was another thing. I wanted one that had good back seat room. Trunk space pretty good, not the greatest. Could be bigger, but you can take the rear seats down if you don't have anybody in the back to get you more room moving forward, but it is a fairly narrow opening. So the Q50 is a bit compromised. I went with the all-season mats too, and so I have the carpeted floor mats back here that I haven't used, but I like the way it's embroidered with Q50. All right, so we're out here on the back roads of Hopewell, here in my new Q50 Red Sport 400, and I got great visibility out the windshield, side glass, rear view mirror. There's no problem at all. I got blind spot monitoring, cross traffic alert, lane keep assist. That was important to me. The 2 biggest things that were important to me was having the safety suite of technology, and the LED lighting was a big deal. It is, and if you know me and all the cars that I review, I always bring those 2 things up regarding safety. But the car right now, we have it set in Sport Plus, and that's firmed up the ride a bit. It's firmed up the steering, and obviously the shifts are a bit faster. as well. So it really is a smooth riding car. And I was looking for a sports sedan to replace the Levante because I didn't need another SUV. I bought a Ford Explorer Timberline as my everyday driver, so I didn't need the Maserati SUV. I wasn't going to spend $1 zillion on another Maserati that I didn't really need. And I said, but I still want something fun, but I want something that's made by a manufacturer that is more, let's say, mainstream, not as exotic. And so I looked at a few of them. One other one that I drove in a review was the 2023 Acura TLX Type S. And I really like that car. It sounds, the growl out of the exhaust is a lot better than this. Is very muted. I would call this a gentleman's sports sedan, this Q50. But the TLX had a really good grumble. It was a more raw feel to it when you drove it, which I liked as well. But I really didn't like the fact that it still had the old-fashioned infotainment screen that you had to use a wheel and a touchpad to move, and the CarPlay and Android Auto was still wired. And I'm like, I think that's kind of a deal breaker for me. Plus, this vehicle had more horsepower at 400 horses rather than 355 for the Acura TLX Type S. So I ruled that out. And again, I had driven this already, so this kind of was the one I was comparing things to. Then I said, you know what about the Germans? Let me take a look at the M340i. And number one, I couldn't find an M340i at any BMW dealer around me, and I wasn't going to drive 2 hours and 45 minutes to go see one. That's too much time out of my day, especially when I have to go out and film videos. So I said, no, that's too much time to go look at that. But when you look up the specs of the M340i, it's got an inline six, it's got 382 horsepower, so this still has more. And when I built one on the car configurator to match what this vehicle's specs were, this vehicle's MSRP was right at $64,000. I didn't pay that, by the way. And the M340i for the same vehicle was like $67,000. So it was a little bit more expensive. And then I figured, well, how about an Audi S4? Well, I couldn't find one of those around me either. I could find A4s, but not S4s. So I built one of those on the car configurator with the same features as this has. Now, obviously, the BMW and Audi has much better interior than this and a much better infotainment system than this. But that one had 349 horsepower, a little bit more torque than this one, but 349 when I built it on the car configurator, and it was like 68. So I'm like, that's even more expensive than this. And I really didn't want to spend more than what I spent on this. And frankly, I didn't spend MSRP. I got a deal from Infiniti to buy this car. Not because I'm a YouTuber, just because I was a customer that was really interested in the car. And frankly, Q50s just don't sell well right now. They just don't. So, you know, I kind of said, all right. They gave me a deal I couldn't refuse by taking the Maserati, not in on lease, but buying it from the lease company, so I didn't have any lease end costs. Plus, it was worth more than what the lease residual was on it. So I got extra money, credit, towards buying this one too. So that was a real bonus. So the deal really sealed it for me. And that's kind of how I wound up with this car. Ultimately, my ultimate dream sports sedan is a Giulia Quadrifoglio, Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, but at $91,000, that was just too much to bite off right now. And then my other one, besides that one, was the Audi RS3. Again, just too expensive and too much of a chunk to bite off for me now. But maybe down the road, we'll do that. But I thought this was a good thing to get me out of the Maserati lease and get me into something fun that I can use on the weekends. It's refined, but also can be a hooligan type car around town. And why not give it a try? See how I like it. If I don't like the car, I get rid of it. But if I like it, I'll keep it for a few years and then see if I can move up to something better. So that was the kind of the idea of why I bought this car. But I'm really impressed with it. I've driven it a month now, and I'm really impressed with how well it drives. I mean, the horsepower is really good. The steering's really sharp. So I'm really quite pleased with how this vehicle operates. And even on this rougher tarmac, it's still very smooth, very well damped. There's not one rattle in the car. You know, Infiniti rolled out the red carpet for me, and that makes a big difference, at least to me. I don't know about you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But the way a dealer treats you when you walk in the door means a lot to me. And when they treated me like a VIP, even though I'd never bought an Infiniti before in my life, that meant a lot to me. And then didn't, you know, blow me off like some dealers that I've been in, which shall remain nameless, tend to do. If either they don't have the car you want, they try to sell you something else you don't want, or they just don't want to talk to you because they don't think you can afford the car, which I really get aggravated with. Now, when I pull in a Maserati, they shouldn't think I couldn't afford the car. Because the Levante was not a cheap vehicle to lease by any stretch. And I saved a lot on my monthly payment, over $500 a month on my monthly payment going with this car over that anyway. So, but it steers really well, it handles really well, it's really quiet. Like I mentioned earlier, the CarPlay works fantastic. No glitching, hooks right in right away as soon as you start the car. Even though for an older system, but you know what? It works, and it works really well. So that is a big deal for me, that it works so well for an older system. Yeah, I like the newer system I have in my Explorer, but the Sync 3 isn't as good with the CarPlay as this, because Sync 3 isn't wireless, it's wired. So I don't even really use the CarPlay in the Explorer, but here I use it all the time because it's wireless, and I don't have to remember to bring a wire, you know, a charge cable with me. So it makes it easier. And I also wanted to get it out of past its run-in miles before I did this video, because I wanted to rev the engine up to the almost to red line, and you really couldn't do that for the first 600 miles on this engine. This is the Nissan Z engine here in this Q50, so it's got serious balls. Now the exhaust could be better. The exhaust is really muted. People have been telling me I should do a different exhaust, but I've never been one to modify cars. I usually keep my cars stock. So let me know what you guys think. Should I modify this Q50 Red Sport with an exhaust? Now, Z1 Motorsports makes all the performance parts for Nissan and Infiniti, and they have a catback exhaust for this. But then this car sounds kind of like a Z. And I don't know if I want to have the Q50 sounding like a Z, because I don't know if that's kind of the vibe I get from this car. This car, like I said earlier, reminds me kind of like of a gentleman's sports sedan. Something that's got balls, but it's a stealth mobile. Nobody knows what it is unless they're car guys or car girls and they know what this thing is. Then they know. But for the average person, they're going to have no idea that this thing is a performance car, sports sedan. So that's kind of my conundrum. Let me know what you guys think, or maybe if there's another type of exhaust you would recommend other than the one out of Z1. I was only going to think about doing Z1 because they make the parts for Infiniti and Nissan, and I figured they would know the vehicles better than maybe some other place that, you know, just makes performance exhaust in general. But let me know what you think. There's also a brake upgrade. These brakes are really good, but I think they could be better. especially when I step on them hard going around turns. So they also have a brake upgrade to carbon ceramics with bigger rotors than these, front and back, for about $1,500 for all 4 corners, which I thought was a good price. So let me know what you guys think about mods. If you do have a Q50 Red Sport and you're watching this and you have done some mods, let me know what you've done. Let me know how you think it's worked out. I just don't want to do anything that makes the car so personal to me that if I decide to sell it, somebody else wouldn't want it and it would devalue the car. That's really what I want to try to avoid. So let me know what you guys think about that. That's pretty awesome, I think. I think that works out. Oh, my luck, I got behind this garbage can guy. It's always the way, right? You come out here to these quiet roads and you get stuck behind the garbage man, taking up the whole road. But it takes off really nice. Really like it. Just wish I had a bit of more of an exhaust noise, you know? But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments about this Infiniti Red Sport 400. Do you think I'm a nut for buying a car that's older, like this one? Do you think I should have gone somewhere else? You got any other ideas where I might have gone besides the ones I had mentioned earlier in the video? Let me know. But I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of what my thoughts were behind doing this. I usually don't film my own cars, but I figured why not give it a try, let you guys see what I wound up deciding on getting and why, and see if you have any other suggestions. So I want to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like. Please also consider subscribing and turn on the notification bell so you'll never miss another Shabby's Rides video. And I'll see all of you on the rebound. Take care, everyone.